So, these are the teams I used for the 30 challenges for the strong. This was honestly not easy. My very first try, of course. You know, I love Greek, so I thought, okay, well, if I have to have a limited number of team like options in the end, like I have to do this 30 times with completely unique party members each time. I need to squish the usefulness of every single card possible. So to me, all you need in a Greek team is like a good converter. So to me, that was this guy. It's Capricorn. So to me, that was all that I needed. Just put in a Capricorn, and then you can carry all your little lobies, like this guy, little level 4. This was difficult. This took a while. And then we have this team, which is just Barb. Just Barb and Nidhogg. Works really well. It has trouble doing damage, which I somehow didn't remember. Like I remember the burst. The burst is decent, but like it's like normal damage is not excellent. It really needed Mothman, which I should have put in there. Probably drop Medusa. Didn't really need her. Didn't use her very much, but a lot of these fights took a really long time, by the way. They aren't really speed kills, they're just kind of being really meticulous and making sure I don't mess anything up and have to use diamonds, because I was using diamonds for stamina restore, because I wanted to get this done and start grinding the new cards. So this is my third team, an Arthur team. I got him from the draw that they have right now, the new, or the ancient seal for ancient coins, and I love it. It's fun. It's a great team. I don't have very many light humans though, as you can see, so I just kind of fit in things that I had. I put in this guy instead of my evolved version of him because I thought that I would end up having to use him in a later clear, like another light human team with him as the leader, which would have been bafflingly bad. Like his team is so outdated. It's just not good anymore. So glad I didn't have to do it. This one was kind of difficult, but not really. Of course, Anubis just blows away the competition. Literally, this was the easiest clear. This and a couple others were just bafflingly easy. Just 3 unleveled Odins in the team. That tells you anything. This was hard. This was very fun, but it was difficult. I had to level up these my little gnomes. I think they were only like level 30. I had 3 of them at max cooldown. Their max CD. None of them are evolved. I don't know if that works. I think it does work. Like these are only 3-star, but the 4-star rarity ones have slightly better stats, but it doesn't matter too much. The only thing is that eventually you'll have to, with all of these teams, nearly all of them, you have to end up stacking your runestones when you're fighting the final boss, and that can get kind of difficult if you're also trying to, like, if you don't have your brain in the right place for how you have to think about the heart runestones in that fight too, because you can't dissolve heart, and you have to stack water. It's really difficult. This is quite a difficult challenge. But with this team, you can, every single turn, nearly, you can convert heart into dark. And then Saruman, 4 turns of burst. It's fantastic. So this team was still hard, because this team does not do very much damage, and its health is minuscule. Pain. But it was fun. It's fun coming back and doing these older teams that aren't really in style anymore. One team that I really wish that I had done for this, and that I didn't do, was a full Metazord team, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have worked. I didn't even want to try it, just in case it would have failed outright, because it's just baffling. You're bringing a single fire card into that final stage where you can't dissolve heart. You're just asking for a bad time. It would have been so difficult. And then we have, I don't remember the name of this guy, Hideyoshi. He is quite fun, one of my favorite teams. I just stuck in a bunch of random humans I had, because I was planning on using some of them later on. It's from a previous, I think it's the Chinese Paladin series, or it might be the Xuan Yuan. That was probably bad pronunciation. From that series, there was one that converts 2 columns into heart, or into earth. I could have put him in here, but I think I used him later on. Anyway, this was a very this one was quite simple to clear with this guy. Then we have Chessia. Quite difficult, to be honest. I'm not really good at spinning for her, where you have to like kind of think about the like you really want to clear the whole board every single turn basically, and you don't really need to think about heart that much. But the reason why I thought she would be great is for that exact reason. She clears all the hearts at the end of the turn, so it makes Cornflower much easier, even though you have that disadvantage. And then I also brought along the Cerberus, not even power released, who cares, because heart into fire, easy. And then 3 little getting carried guys. This is how much I was like determined to not do Metazord. I wanted to sabotage myself, like bring in one of the metallic beasts so I can like stop myself. Like, don't do it. It's a trap. You'll die. Don't do it. By the way, I had to use a lot of mercenaries for this. If you can tell, like I got lucky here, and I actually have an ally that actually has Aether. For some reason, my friends list is so full of just nothing. It really sucks. I'm really sad about that, but anyway, Aether team is fun. Just a bunch of random cards I had. I'm just like, hey, just use some max level cards of everything and just toss them in there. It'll work. I remember when I first got her, very, very difficult to train. I think they have like 10 million experience to max. It's kind of crazy. Just a big beat stick. Okay, this was also difficult. I absolutely would not recommend Babylon for this. You could do it. Absolutely, I did it. It took me 2 tries because I messed up on the, of all things, the combo shield. I didn't heal, and then I took 2 hits, and then I just kind of flubbed the next spin, and then I'm like, okay, well that's bad. Let's not tilt. Retry. We'll do it again. So I just threw in random cards that I had. I was going to do more Babylon. I think I did one more time, but I'm like, okay, this is the one time that I need to use Anu, because fire has like a definite weakness in this stage, so I just gotta... If I'm going to use them in any, I'm going to use it in the one that is the most difficult to clear with. So I'm like, okay, Ninurta team, let's go. And then, yeah, here we go. Got a Namtar team, which was bafflingly easy. It was the simplest thing. After I had already gotten myself in the mood with Ninurta. Spins, I love the Babylon playstyle. It's quite fun. And then for the final turn, literally all you have to do is you just pop Hades. Board's clear. One little stupid spin, they're dead. Works really well. And then this team, oh my god, I'm going back and playing all these teams. For this challenge, you have to play so many teams, and I got to play one of my favorites, which was Gimza. I think it's Gimza. Gimza, yeah. Gimza with Earth. I have all these cards maxed, and I never ended up playing them that much, because they kind of fell out of style almost the moment that they were made better with their the power or the amelioration, so you could use 2 Gimzas and not really have to worry about having a Yan ally, which was, I mean, not a lot of people were going to do it. It was kind of a pain. So, and then of course I had 3 of her. Okay, I messed up this stage the first time because I didn't have this guy in my team. And so I'm like, oh, why isn't this working? And then I remembered you have to have gods and demons. So it's like, oh man. So I have 3 of her. And I wish I could use her in this team, but I can't. Anyway, so that was this one. So the Gimza team was quite easy. This one was also easy. Pretty simple. You can see what I did. She clears all the water from the board, so you don't have to stack for the final stage versus Cornflower. And then this guy turns water into light, and then earth into dark. And then this guy turns fire into light, and then heart into dark. So you end up having only light and dark runestones on the board, and it's quite an easy spin. And if you can manage to make a bunch of combos, then Erebus ends up giving you a huge skyfall of dark, and then all the combos that happen from there because of his leader skill, and does a lot of damage. Easy. The whole stage was pretty easy with them. Another pretty easy one. This was actually a little bit difficult. I tried to do something fun where I would use a combination the golems combination. It didn't really work that well. They don't do very much damage. They were very low. And I had my main carry here was just being able to constantly attack because he procced like every single time I used him. So every stage I was able to just have quite a number of earth to work with. So I always was able to keep going with Bel's leader skill. This isn't even VR. This is just power release Bel. And the reason why I did that, I have only I've only virtual rebirthed one, and it's Byakhee. And I kind of regret it because I can't use Robert in the new team. He doesn't have a place. It sucks. So I just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna use him for this. This is like the last hurrah for Robert. So it was fun. It was not very difficult. This one also was pretty easy. Stuck in, Solomon, my unleveled Solomon, literally just worthless. You can see what I would probably do. What the idea is to just use him, and he converts water and heart into earth. So you could just do any kind of spin plus Mufasa, and it's just like he's dead. Cornflower's gone. That's the thing about this. Almost every single stage wasn't too difficult, but it's just the final stage. Like if you could clear, like if you had like a way to grind through the first couple of stages or just kill them outright, then it didn't matter. You just get to the final stage, you're like, this is fine. If I can clear Cornflower, that's it. Any team can work if it can do that. And then of course Loki's easy. Another Norse. Blew him up. I made a mistake here actually, and I had to restart because I had her and I used her on accident on Cornflower, and I'm like, this is the actual worst thing I've ever done in my life. I made a whole bunch of heart rune stones. I can't do anything with them. So I had to restart because I made all these heart rune stones and I couldn't spin anymore, and I didn't have I didn't use my my thing well enough, my Dragonic Craft, so that sucks. Satan also fairly simple. Does the same thing as Chessia, so quite easy to just spin the board kind of decently and then get a bunch of sky drops, and it clears all the hearts out of the way for that final stage versus Cornflower. Samael, also fun. Another fun team. I love these. I think they're called Origin of Demons. Is that what they're called? Yeah, Origin of Demons. This like the whole series is fun, and I wanted to use Samael specifically just because I have a max leveled Belial, and so it's like, okay, Belial. Anyway, so the whole point of this was to just make the whole board Earth, and then just blow them up with the combined skill, which is fun. I like using combined skills. It kind of makes me sad that they're not really effective. So it sucks, but that's just my thoughts on it. Mine isn't even. I haven't used my Samael in so long. She isn't even power really or ameliorated. I never even bothered. So then ended up using Astaroth. This was hard. I have not spun an Astaroth team in a very long time, but it was pretty fun because it was like a new challenge for me, relearning how to use Astaroth and just kind of spin really fast. It was like in the old days where the best teams that you had were like the Solar and Lunar Sirius teams, or like Norse. So it's like most people didn't really have Norse at a high level because it was also kind of hard to level up back then. It would take a while. So like most people might have like a pseudo team of like Enchantresses and Sirius, so that kind of like I had to tap into that. So then I used this guy because I had him. It's like, okay, I'll use him here. Why not? I don't think I used him for anything. I might have used him once, like on the May Lily or something, just to make the board a little nicer to spin. But she is invaluable. She just turns it all into... All those hearts go away when you're fighting Cornflower in the end. You just have to turn it on earlier so that there aren't any hearts coming down when you fight him. Not too difficult. This is another fun team. I didn't have another regulator ally, of course. Why would I have? Why would anybody make regulator their ally right now? But so I ended up just using a Lubu, and it worked. It actually works pretty well. because there isn't any requirement. Like for like Lubu, whatever. He just is a pretty good leader skill. I think there's like a thing with Dio-chan. I don't really. I have my own Lubu, but I don't have him leveled. I never cared. But I have all these all these guys, the conjurers, like all of the dark ones, except for this guy. He's not leveled all the way or ameliorated, so he's kind of dead weight. But it was just fun. Just these guys end up having around 2,000 damage or so, 2,000 attack. It's really. It works. It's decent. It's a fun little team. This is just you know what this team does. Do I even have to say? Like this, you just get that massive Skyfall of drop. Skyfall of Dark just drops and just blows them up. It's fun. And then Paladins, the Paladin teams. Oh, so much fun. This team is actually bad. It was kind of like a wake-up call to me when I'm like, I'm running out of teams, and I guess I have to like maybe think outside the box a little bit, and I'm like, I have this guy. Can I make a Paladin team? And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's try. It's not very much damage, and you have to do pretty much all the spinning. Like there's no hand-holding here in terms of board clearing or rune gathering and stuff. You just get a little bit of extra damage from the leader skills. Like hidden team thing. It's like I'd use like the Paladin, like this guy pretty often. This took a while, I think. Yeah, that took 14 minutes because I was just like thinking about every spin, and it took me. I'm like, oh god, I need to think. I need to not die here, please. Oh, just so much jank. And then Diablo, pretty simple. I messed up on the May Lily, and it took me so long because I was just dead focused on not dying to May Lily, and I'm like, okay, I need to just spin here, and hearts will come eventually, because you could probably guess what my what the combo was. You would use Diablo, you'd use his combined skill, so that he would make everything count as heart, and then the turn before, of course, or you could do this. You could actually do this after, but so you would do Cornflower. You'd get rid of all rune stones except for earth. He would keep heart. He'd keep earth and heart is what would happen, and then he wouldn't make any water drop. I think you could also get heart, but it doesn't really matter. And then you would use her. You'd use Rosemellow, and it's like Rosemellow actually has a use. I don't like Rosemellow very much, and I got way too many of her. I think I got like 4 of her trying to get Cornflower, and I'm like, feels bad. Just no, man, please. So, Rosemellow after Cornflower, so you have just an entire board of stuff, and then you spin it as best you can, and you just hope that the healing can actually kill it, because you can't dissolve heart. And you need to do your best to stack water, but there shouldn't be any water because of Cornflower's skill. So this team is actually pretty good. That actually worked out pretty well. And then of course it was a water. So I'm like, okay, I gotta BM it. Gotta bring out my Shuten-Doji. I had to make. I had this guy from a long time ago, and I had to level him up on the fly for the Saviors of the Tower thing from I think like maybe 8 months ago. I got that title too. That was pretty fun. It was a difficult challenge as well. There weren't very many. There were some really good team leaders, but you had to do special things for each stage. So this guy was really fun for what I had to do back then, and then I was able to bring him out and use him effectively here. Just because, I mean, any team that can do a decent multiplier works, but I'm like, okay, let's do something fun with like fire demons and use Shuten-Doji. And then this was just like another fire team, because I'm like, I haven't used her yet, just let's get it out of the way. Pretty simple. You get a lot of board clear. She gives you a really good burst on the final form, but you don't need it. You literally don't need it. If you look at my total damage, 30 million, it's crazy. A lot of these teams do tons and tons of damage if you line up all the burst properly. I hadn't used Metatron yet, so I'm like, okay, what would be a fun thing to use Metatron for? So I'm like, okay, and I also haven't used a Gaia team yet, so let's do that. Let's combine both of those. That'll be fun. And then Valley, I don't think I even used him. I probably used him at the very end for the team attack bonus. but it's pretty simple. You just try and spin for Gaia every turn, where you try and dissolve 5 earth, but also, if you can help it, reserve 1 enchanted earth at least, and it helps you spin for the next turn. So it's fun. It's quite a fun little challenge. I absolutely did not make use of Metatron's row clearing thing. I'm just like, I just want to use Metatron in something because I haven't in so long. I haven't been able to use him in anything. So like, whatever. Just it'll be fun. So threw him in. It was great. And then another clear with just a fun little cheese team. This was really hard, and I wanted to challenge myself, but it wasn't actually too bad. I ended up not having very many water rune stones in the final board versus Cornflower. I tried to clear a lot of them, and then I used him once just to get a few, and then I stacked it as best I could, and then I used the Dragonic Compulsion. Did quite a bit of damage. Look at that, still 12 million damage as my highest burst. So if you're really cautious with your spinning, then you can do something really good still and still get through it pretty well. This was hard. This was a difficult one because I kind of gimped myself. I'm like, okay, I've already used Achilles, so I can use the previous form that I had as just a little extra just lying around. So it worked, but I would not recommend this because it's hard. It's kind of difficult. Just because that final stage again, you have her, which just kind of clutters up the board, because even though she's removing water rune stones, it'll still make heart. So it's like, that kind of doesn't help, you know? I ended up using her, Sakura, in the end, because converting it into fire, giving you more attack for the next turn if you didn't clear it, which I didn't in the first round versus Cornflower. Kind of sucks. But helped out a lot, using Sakura there to help me out in the next turn. Yeah, boring. Boring, annoying, it's kind of a slog. And then Lancelot, oh boy, these teams... I used to use a Stolas team back in the day, when they were the hottest shit around. And then this guy is like a throwback to when that was like one of the strongest teams. So I'm like, okay, let's just throw together something kind of fun. I ended up messing up the very first board versus Lancelot, and I dissolved water in the first combo. So I was really sad, and I had to restart. But then I came back and I cleared it, and I just blew it up. This is a fun team to blow stuff up with, especially with this guy. You would use him in the turn before on the May-Lily. If you think if it's like a 6 combo thing, you can do a really good spin and do tons of damage. And then all you have to do in the next turn is you just dissolve Dark. Like, you just dissolve Dark and he's dead. He'll just launch like a 3 or 4 million attack if that was how much damage you did last turn. Fun teams. Another old team. This is from the are these Chinese Paladins? I think it's Chinese Paladins. Yeah. So, fun team. Just bring fire, water, and earth, and then do the best you can with the spins. You don't end up being able to capitalize on the heart multiplier, which kind of sucks. That's just how it is. You're able to pretty much make the whole board earth, and then using him, it's a freebie, basically. Not too difficult, but it's just a throwback to when this was another one of the best teams around. So that was a fun little trip, and it was fun. This whole challenge was quite fun to me, just being able to play all these older teams. Lots of fun. And then look at this damage. Look at that, 91 million. Oh man, Jackie still got it. I harped on it earlier, but these teams are lit. These teams are so good still. Look at it, it's just like a hodgepodge. Like, I even used like this guy from forever ago, Amadusius. Oh man, like if you're in Hong Kong or Southeast Asia, you guys have the Disney crossover, but for me, this and America and most of the rest of the world, I think Southeast Asia also had these guys. They didn't have Disney characters. That's right. It was only China, I believe. Anyway, so a lot of us had this, and some people have the other one, the Cauldron guy, and this guy was a cool card at the time. I still use this guy in some setups in Aether teams because, you know, multiple attributes fits perfectly. So I just threw him in there. And then of course Heimdall removes all those hearts, get in the way. Works out really well. You can just plow through the stage, even though there's that type attribute mishmash, it still works out pretty well. I think I had a, is this, so, I don't think, I'm not sure if this does what I think it does, but what it might have done in that final round is make it so that water isn't, like, it doesn't take half damage, or doesn't do half damage to fire monsters, and vice versa, so I wouldn't have done half damage with my fire attacks to the water monster with this, I think. Or maybe this is something like those skills where it's like, oh, it only takes damage from its weakness attribute. Those kinds of shields, like Gimza and the Seventh Seal and all that nonsense. Odin, VR, or this Power Release Odin, I think, has that in his final Nightmare stage. Something like that. So that Dragonic skill would bypass it. And I use that because I'm like, okay, well, if it's water, then I can just... If this does what I think it does, then it'll help me do more damage, and it was fun. So, worked out and I got it. Riddles Breaker and Autumn Wind. Thanks for watching.